And
There's the red light's on.
oh, it has a red light in the front. I didn't. Yeah.
Yeah, it's on. It's ready.
Well, you don't have to look at it. You can just keep.
There.
We'll just keep talking. But
Just relaxing.
I just want to capture some of the pearls. So, how long have you been a member of First Methodist Church? It was Stanley Methodist when you joined.
Stanley Methodist in 1959. I moved my letter in 1959.
And what kind of things did you do in the church over the years?
My main function was I started teaching Sunday school when I was a helper in high school. The superintendent was a distant cousin, and she got me to help with some of the little primary children when I was in high school. And I continued teaching all through high school, and when I came home from college in the summertime, I taught. Continued on my adult life, 25 or so years. And then when I married and came to Stanley First United, I continued teaching school, Sunday school there, until my husband became ill and I couldn't have the time to devote to my preparation and take care of him. But I've always enjoyed my work as a Sunday school teacher.
What did you get from being a Sunday school teacher? What did it do for you?
They gave me what I'd like to say would be an uplifted spirit. I never came away from a Sunday, I don't think, that I didn't feel as though something monumental had happened to me. Something good. Now, not all the time. There was a time or two, I can remember a couple of little boys that I would have liked to reached over and pinch them a little bit, but I thought I better not do that because their mama won't like that. So I had to bring in the discipline with all of the good uplifting. But it all worked really well. And one of them grew up to be very prominent, a doctor, and one of them grew up to be a lawyer. And I had the opportunity to tell him one time at a roast how I wanted to pinch him. But I held back because I didn't want no Methodist mama after me. But it was a good experience. I always felt, hello, Betty. I always felt as though it was worthwhile. The only trouble I ever had in teaching Sunday school was there was a time when the North Carolina Orthopedic Hospital over on New Union Road, the uptown churches, I was First United Methodist before I was married at Gastonia. I was born and raised in that church. And sometimes we would go to exchange Sunday schools and go to teach those little crippled children. And some of them were in such such awful things, physical condition. And I'd have to pray real hard because I was so kind-hearted, it would just tear me up. I'd just get tore up after, and so I finally just, I guess I gave up on it. but I had to pray a lot and get over it so I could go help them some. But they were so sad little children. But they would always receive me well, and I'd always thought, well, maybe I did something for them. They were the little severely crippled children. But I always enjoyed teaching. I taught in Sunday school and in public school. I guess I was just a teacher at heart.
What would you say is one of the times where you felt closest to God in your life?
I would say when I was helping a student in public school or helping a student in Sunday school. And I had some different experiences over the years. I felt as though that I called on God in prayer to be sure to give me the strength to be able to stay on the right path, to be able to help somebody. I always prayed every day that if it be God's will, to let me help somebody along the way each day. That was my mantra, my prayer. I felt closer when I could see to fruition that I had helped somebody. That was the main thing. I liked the feeling that I had that He showered His blessings on me in order that I could be of help to somebody else. That was the main thing. And I prayed for the hope and faith, that my faith would never alter, that it would always be strong. And it has carried me through into this, my upcoming 95th year.
So what are the practices that I know that you're limited as far as mobility, but what are the things that you have done over the years, or things that you still do to nurture your relationship with God? What are some of your practices?
My practices are faith, hope, and prayer. I have an inordinate amount of faith. And my hope is that I'll be mentally, if it's God's will, to be mentally able to exercise that faith, keep that faith, and hope that I'll be able to continue to pray daily and often, and have the feeling that I always have, that I feel I'm a part, and He's a part of me, and I'm a part of Him. Feeling that way. It's a happy feeling.
When you talk about prayer being a part of your life, how do you do it? What are the nuts and bolts of your prayer life?
Oh, mostly that I'll continue to be able. I do a lot of telephone. I talk on the telephone. I have a lot of friends that I talk on the telephone. I have friends who will call me to ask me advice on something, a matter of something. Maybe they need to get something straightened out, and they need some advice on what I would do. And I don't like to be assertive, but I say, now, if you want my advice, I will give you what I humbly think, and then you take it from there. But I like to know that he's leading me wherever I'm trying to go. And I do feel that way, and I guess that's the reason I have I pray that I'll get along. And the people with whom who work for me, they seem to respect me so well, and I know they love me. And I can't remember a better lucky, for instance, over 50 years, I don't believe we've ever had a crossword. Now that's amazing. I know that's amazing. And you think that can't be true, but we just always earned a respect. And I think I pray for that, and God has blessed me by answering me with it. I feel as though that has been the part of a happy life. And I've had a lot of not tragedies, but I'm blessed with a lot of with the three nephews and one niece, and then several other great nephews and great nephews and nieces. I've got a really large family, and they're scattered all over the United States. But I feel as though God has led me. I've tried to help them spiritually, to try to teach them when they were younger the right way to go. And most of them have been very successful and very supportive of me now. There's such a blessing in my life now, because I've lost naturally my mother and father and my husband and all my siblings. I'm the only one left out of a family of 8 children. I was the youngest, and they're all gone on. But
what were you like when you were a child?
What was I like?
Yeah.
Oh, I was...
What did you like to do?
Very, very, very active. I liked to play ball and skate and ride a bicycle and do things all the children do. I was very active. Climb trees. I used to get a whipping for climbing an apple tree. Oh, I love to climb a tree.
Were they worried that you would fall out of the tree and get hurt? Or were they worried that you would hurt the tree?
They were worried that I think I'd hurt the tree, and then they probably worried I'd hurt the tree or eat the apples. I guess there was maybe a little bit of worry about, because we had several big apple trees, and I loved to climb the trees. And my friends, they loved to climb with me, so we was always climbing. I was more like a boy child and a girl child. I mean, his activities were, because I liked to play ball and skate. I could skate up a storm. But I like to do those things. But I was always active in my Sunday school and church, as long as I could.
Tell me about and I know she's here, so this isn't a fair time to ask it. Tell me about your relationship to Betty and her family.
Oh, that has been.
You see,
that
I'm recording her.
That has been the best relationship of my life. I met Betty through her mother-in-law. I think I alluded to that one time. I stopped her mother-in-law on the way. That was over 50 years ago. And I asked her if she knew of anybody who might be willing to help me with a little bit of housework because I taught school. She said, "Oh yes, I have a young daughter-in-law. And I think she would like some extra work. Her husband would be home in the afternoon to take care of the little children, because at that time she had a couple of children." And I said to ask her to come by to see me one Saturday morning, and we'd talk, and I did it. That was 52 years ago. And we've been going along ever since, and I was just saying that I don't think Betty and I have ever had a cross word. We seem to just mesh respect for each other, which is so wonderful. But she and Bill have been my lifelines, and they're 5 children. All of them, I know them all well, from the time they was little coming up. Her oldest girl was just a little teeny girl standing on a box trying to help her mama wash the dishes when Betty first came with me. And so it's been a long road, but it's been a happy road. And I think Betty and Bill are of the same personality type. They've got a good faith and a base in prayer and hope and faith. So we're the same kind of people, and it's proven to be so wonderful. The time has proved to be the best, so I know that's good. Can't be bad when it's been so good.
All right, well, since I know you talked about George, but since I got the recorder on, tell me about George Eubanks. Just be honest, go ahead. I need looking for something to use against him.
George he's just phenomenal. And I use that big word phenomenal because he's a big boy. He is phenomenal. He seems to be able to know what I'm thinking before I say it. He is a most receptive person and the most accommodating person. And he has the faith of an innocent child. And yet he's got the strength and faith of a mountain man. I do believe that anything George sets his mind to, he does well and does it to the best of his ability. Because I do believe that he is a man of God. He believes what what you see is what you get. That's what I'm trying to say. George is a prince of a gentleman. He's a southern gentleman all the way. And yet he's kind and gentle to children and to elderly people and to people his own age. He teaches everybody with the greatest respect. And you can't help but admire him for that. Yeah, I like George a lot. I feel so privileged to have him as a friend. So privileged.
Well, I have harassed you to death. Gosh, thank you. Is there would you be willing to is there a prayer that you would pray over the church? Do you have a prayer for the church?
Yes, I do. I would say, dear God, give us the insight to appreciate the present, to anticipate what has gone on in the past, and with your help be prepared for the future. Help us to grow, because when we stop growing, we stop living. Help us to grow and expand in all our efforts, and always be mindful of the hundreds of blessings that you shower on us each day that we live. We ask it in all thy divine name. Amen.